November 4, 2010. Singapore shimmered beneath the midday sun. Qantas Flight 32, an Airbus A380, the world's largest passenger aircraft, prepared for takeoff. Destination Sydney, Australia. On board, 440 passengers and 29 crew members settled into the routine of a long-haul flight. Little did they know, they were about to become players in a drama that would rewrite aviation history. Captain Richard de Crespigny, a pilot with decades of experience, commanded the flight. He loved this plane. The A380 was a technological marvel, a symbol of human ingenuity. It was also a flying city, filled with hopes, dreams, and destinations. The engines roared. The behemoth started its roll. They were airborne. Smoothly, the A380 climbed, leaving the glistening towers of Singapore behind. Up ahead, clear skies, or so they thought. At 7,000 feet, a sharp bang ripped through the cabin. A shudder ran through the plane. Passengers exchanged nervous glances. Something was wrong. Terribly wrong. In the cockpit, alarms blared. Engine number 2 on the left wing had exploded. Shrapnel, traveling at supersonic speed, tore through the wing, shredding metal like paper. Fuel lines ruptured, spewing highly flammable jet fuel into the slipstream. Fire erupted, a raging inferno visible from the cabin. Panic threatened to consume the passengers. The very machine that promised to carry them safely across the globe was now trying to shake them off. But in the cockpit, amidst the chaos, a different story was unfolding. Captain de Crespigny, his voice betraying no panic, took control. He knew the situation was dire, but he also knew one thing: panic was not an option. Not today. His crew, trained for years for moments like this, snapped into action. They worked with machine-like efficiency, their movements precise, their voices calm. Warnings flooded the cockpit displays. It was an avalanche of red lights and error messages, a cacophony of beeps and alarms. The sheer volume of information was overwhelming, but the crew, their training kicking in, fought back against the chaos. They prioritized, delegated, and focused on one thing: keeping the plane in the air. The explosion had crippled the aircraft. Beyond the engine failure, multiple systems were malfunctioning. Fuel leaked uncontrollably, precious lifeblood of the plane bleeding out. Hydraulics, responsible for controlling the aircraft, were compromised. Even the brakes, vital for a safe landing, were partially inoperable. The situation was dire. The A380, designed for redundancy, was pushed to its absolute limit. Each passing second was a gamble. Yet de Crespigny and his crew remained steadfast. They knew they were fighting for the lives of over 450 souls on board. Giving up was not an option. Section 5. Turning back. Singapore, their point of departure, now beckoned as a beacon of hope. It was their only chance. Turning a heavily damaged, fuel-leaking A380, however, was no easy feat. It was like trying to steer a cruise ship with a broken rudder in a hurricane, but turn they did. Slowly, painstakingly, the wounded giant began its arc, turning back towards Singapore. Every maneuver was a risk, a delicate dance with disaster. One wrong move, one miscalculation, and the plane could spiral out of control. The tension in the cockpit was palpable, but the crew, their faces etched with determination, held their nerve. They had to get back. They had to land this plane. Section 6. The longest hour. The flight back to Singapore was the longest hour of their lives. Every minute stretched into an eternity. Fuel dwindled. Systems flickered. The ground loomed closer. In the cabin, passengers clung to hope, to each other. The knowledge that their lives were hanging by a thread was inescapable. Yet there was a strange calm, a shared sense of purpose. They were in this together. Finally, after an eternity, the runway came into view. The moment of truth had arrived. Section 7. Anatomy of a near disaster. The landing was a testament to skill and nerves of steel. The crippled A380, its massive frame shuddering, touched down on the runway. Cheers erupted from the cabin as the plane came to a stop. They had made it. Against all odds, they had survived. The subsequent investigation revealed a chilling truth. A fractured oil pipe within the engine had triggered a catastrophic chain of events. It was a manufacturing defect, a tiny flaw that had nearly brought down a super jumbo jet. Qantas, in a display of accountability, grounded its entire A380 fleet. The engine manufacturer faced serious consequences. Lessons would be learned, changes would be made, but for now, there was only relief and gratitude. Section 8. Second Chance. The passengers and crew of Qantas Flight 32 walked away from the experience forever changed. They had stared death in the face and emerged victorious. They were survivors, bonded by an experience few could comprehend. For Captain de Crespigny and his crew, there was the quiet satisfaction of a job done well, a responsibility fulfilled. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged as heroes. But the true measure of their actions went beyond accolades and recognition. It was the lives saved, the families reunited, the futures given a second chance. Section 9. Legacy of 32. The story of Qantas Flight 32 is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It is a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, courage, skill, and teamwork can prevail. The legacy of QF-32 lives on, not just in the annals of aviation history, but in the hearts of those who lived through it. It is a story that will be told and retold, inspiring generations to come. It is a story of human courage, of skill tested and proven, and of the enduring power of hope in the face of despair. It is, in every sense, the ultimate save in aviation history.